March. Welcome aboard. Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, Chuck. Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the day started over here with a coffee. So yeah, excited to kind of have a little chat with you and kind of go through everything.
Thank you for joining. Where are you?
Bellingham, Washington,
Okay. So way north.
way north. I'm about 20 minutes from the Canadian border.
Yeah. Is Bellingham right on Highway 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right off that.
I've driven through. I don't think I've ever stopped.
And that's how I found it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Driving through, through racing, going up to Whistler and back, and all the racing we did, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, what's this little town of Bellingham? And kind of getting connected with a couple of people. Oh, pull over and just come meet us for a ride, and oh, that's kind of cool. Nice little mountain right there. We're headed to Whistler. Keep on
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are you from Whistler?
Uh, I'd say hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to go up there for work.
Oh,
When I
darn.
was in the bike industry, I had to drive. And I did all of Highway 5, like San Diego to Canada. So
So you know that route, right?
I know that route, and then I drove to Whistler a couple times with my Subaru full of beer, and I totally thought like the border guards or whatever would have stopped me. They did not care.
Yeah. Yeah. Before was it 9/11? It was so easy.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
9/11, it got a lot harder.
I think this was after 9/11, and there must have been a fugitive with the same name as me because I have like the second most common name in the world, like
Wow.
after like John Smith, and thankfully that dude was like 5'3" and I'm 6'3", and I step out of the car like, no, you're good.
Oh,
But they didn't care about the beer at all.
yeah,
Uh,
no, they don't mind because the U.S. beer has got less alcohol, so they're like, yeah, bring that water up here.
yeah, that was good times though. So,
Mhm.
um, who is up there? Transition is evil up there too.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah,
Transition Evil Kona was. I don't even know. Yeah, I think they're still around. I don't know.
they're
And then we have
around. I don't know where they
Canfield.
are.
Canfield was here, and I think he just left again. He bounces around.
Canfield.
Yeah, Canfield.
Okay.
Uh, uh, I'm trying to think if there's another one right now. But yeah, those are the three I can think of, the four.
Right on. Are you riding transition or what are you riding these days?
Yeah, yeah, still riding transition. Kind of on their giddy up team, kind of floating towards the back of the team these days. But
Hmm.
yeah, I've been riding transition for a while now, for
Hmm.
I'd say at least 8 years or more.
Yeah. I've had a few. I had a patrol that I built up pretty rowdy with a Cascade link and coil conversions. It was like
Nice.
170. It was like 170 millimeters of travel and like 32 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Crazy.
fast. Like we've come so far to think
Yeah.
about what we started on to what we are now. Like we were so extreme, but now that extreme is kind of just what you want to set up with. Like you want
Yeah. Yeah. Pink Bike put out an article the other day, like complaining that bikes are getting heavier because like an enduro bike is like 32 pounds. I'm like, dude, that's like the best downhill bike from like 2001, and it's 32 pounds and you can climb on it,
yeah, yeah,
right? Not to mention, e-bikes, which down here where I live, I mean, it's really steep, like 35% grades are like normal.
yeah.
So you can't like e-bikes are almost required. You're not going to do a ton of 35% grades on an analog bike on
Yeah, you
anything
get a lap.
capable of going back downhill. Right?
Yeah, well, you do a lap when it's that steep, and then you're like, okay, we did a lap, and that's it. Now with an e-bike, you do a couple of those laps or a few, right? Yeah,
Dude, yeah. I mean, you just session it. And I mean, all the trail builders, here in the Bay Area, it was like illegal to ride single track for a long time. So it forced people to be outlaws and build all the illegal trails. And by some miracle, they legalized them. And I don't even get it. Like that doesn't happen in California.
yeah, especially in the Bay Area, right?
No.
Like, how did somebody sneak that through?
I don't. Well, I mean, I know the people that did it, and way more patient than I am, dude, because I cannot deal with the bureaucracy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They had the long-term mindset, like you were saying, is it's that short-term, uh, quick, kind of gratitude versus the long-term. Okay, we're going to plan this out, and it's good we have a few people that do that.
Yeah,
Those are the cross countryers and the road racers.
yeah. So no, it's rad. My local park system that I used to not be so fond of back when it was like all just fire road. It's like we have a bike park now, and I don't even go anywhere. I ride right here. It's killer.
Yeah,
So ride from my house. So,
funny
dude,
now.
Shams,
What do
so
you
this
think?
is something I put out to a few people that I've never done before. I'm wearing this jersey from like 1999 from Knight Rider when they ran the 24 hours of adrenaline.
Yep.
And I sent the picture to a buddy of mine who was at Knight Rider. He's like, dude, how do I dial in? So Tom Vasconi is dialing in. Do you remember him?
I believe I do. Yeah, with Knight Rider, right?
Him
And
and
that
Brian
green goatee,
Prescott.
man.
They used to like they used to drive around the country like hosting night rides back.
Yep. Oh, and I love jumping in. I was always trying to jump in wherever we could and invite
Yeah.
them to different things. And yeah.
If you're okay with it, let me let Tom.
Oh, there he is.
I don't
Awesome.
know. I call him Tommy. I don't know if everybody calls him Tommy. He and I have
That's
everybody,
awesome.
known each other forever.
Everybody changes too.
Tommy,
Yes, sir.
dude. Good morning. I'm on with Shaums March.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning.
What's going on? How are you feeling?
I'm not doing too bad this morning.
So, dude, introduce yourself. Shams and I are just getting started talking about just what riding is like today versus back in the day. And I'm wearing your Night Rider 24 hours of adrenaline jersey because I figured, what the heck?
Yeah, right on.
Who are you?
Yeah, so hey, Sean, Tom Vasconi. I lived with Brian Prescott for a hot minute in like 1999, and then worked with him for a year or so at Knight Rider. Had
Yeah,
a chance to
yeah.
meet you and spend some time with you, riding in Santa Barbara, and I think you stayed. I think we picked you up in Grand Junction,
Yep.
and we did that cop camp in Moab, Utah, and had a chance to hang out with you. So
Oh yeah.
super fun time.
Those are great times.
Yep.
Well,
Yes, for
good to hear
sure.
your voice.
Yeah, likewise. Chuck reached out and said that you guys were doing the podcast, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Great to kind of rehash old times and listen to old stories and get an update for what you're doing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely, Tom. Yeah.
So,
This is
dude, you used to host like night rides like all around the country when you were at Knight Rider?
Yeah, exactly. I got a call. So I met Brian when I worked for Ellsworth in the late '90s, down in San Diego. Met Brian at it was a downhill race. Um, Gosh, it was in the Inland Empire. Um, it was the actual race where Jake Watson crashed and passed away. What race
Oh,
was it? Was it Kelseyville?
Keysville?
Keysville. Yeah.
Keysville, yes. So I met Brian there, and a year later, he reached out and asked me to come work with him because they were doing a bunch of events throughout the United States, and we would go to either festivals or cop camps or 24-hour races to support the racers with charging lights. And while we were there, we would host promotional night rides. We did them once a week in San Diego, and then we did them at every event that we would go to. And we had a couple hundred lights at our disposal at any given time, and would hook up with the local bike shops and take people out on night rides to introduce them to what it was like to ride bikes at night. And then we would, host barbecues and things after the ride. So it was super fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
Good
awesome.
times.
I love jumping in with you guys, like just doing all sorts of different crazy stuff. And you guys were always pushing the limit everywhere you went.
Well, so I was telling Chuck yesterday, I think the first time I rode with you, we went up to Santa Barbara and had a chance to follow you down tunnel. And that's when I realized, obviously, the faster you go, the smoother it is. And I think you typically spent more time in the air than actually on the ground, and
Yeah.
literally would watch you lily pad from rock to rock. And it totally changed. I mean, I was in my 20s, so it was like changed how I rode completely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember that. And I remember that weekend that you guys came up to Santa Barbara and did all that. And yeah, and it was like awesome. I couldn't wait to do this more because you guys hooked us up with the best lights back then. And it was like, oh my God, this is my new passion of night riding. Yeah.
Yeah, because it completely changes the trail, right? You could be on the easiest trail and then go out at night and it completely transforms. But I mean, looking back, like I'm in my God, early to mid 20s, and was working at a shop here in Northern California, and decided to get into the bike industry and kind of chase my passion. And the next thing I know, I'm riding, I'm following a pro down his home trail. So as a young rider, like, I was so stoked to be introduced to these people and just humbled, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, it was good.
Right on, dude. Thanks for calling in, Tommy.
Yeah, no worries.
Share
Thanks
some
for sending me
pictures
this,
from back in the day, and I'll edit them in for the recording.
Okay, right on. All right, take it easy, guys.
Go ride your bike. Yeah, I've known Tommy since 1992. We started the cycling team at our local college at St. Mary's College.
Okay.
Because we found out if you start a team, they give you money. So we're like, killer, we got money.
Yeah.
And we actually got sponsored, like from SRAM and CSIT bicycles, if you remember the steel manufacturer. So yeah, he and I've been riding bikes for, God, dude, 33, 34 years. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 40 years for me this year. So that's when I finally went to the dark side and bought an e-bike.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You start saying 40 years. I'm like, wow, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
There's a lot worse things you could be doing.
That's true. That's true. And I'm glad that I can still move and keep doing things. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing I tell everybody is I have to keep moving. Otherwise I will probably freeze up, right?
Yeah.
My joints will stop and I have to keep moving.
Yeah. If you want to keep moving, you got to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
We're too old to, you got to stay on top of it.
Yeah. Of course.
All right, Tom, I'm going to let you go. We're going to get back to our previously scheduled event.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, dude.
All right.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about. And there may or may not be other people that call in.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The old stories, there's always good old storytellers.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, but
Okay.
I was living in the time of the great stories for mountain biking.
Yeah. So before I hit record, I mentioned that a little bit. And in preparation for talking with you, I put together some pictures maybe we can look at. And maybe we should do that because you've got an interesting life history. You've done a ton of stuff. You've lived it to the fullest, and you've had some of the raddest bikes there are. And anytime, so I run that Facebook group, the Vintage Downhill group. I should probably know what it's called. Anytime anybody builds a mountain cycle San Andreas with a Zyzix, it's like automatically like Shaums March, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the bike, right? And dude, and you did stuff on mountain bikes. I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody. I mean, but prior to like modern Rampage, nobody was doing mountain, knack-knacks on downhill bikes,
Yeah. Well,
I
that was where I think that I had that unique, I guess, route when I came into mountain biking. I came in from BMX kind of dirt jumping flatland. So it was all about doing tricks.
Yeah.
And then I got hooked into mountain biking and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. We're riding trails and I can still jump off of everything.
Yeah.
And, doing urban stuff on my BMX and then getting a mountain bike, I was like, oh, just a bigger BMX.
Yeah.
With suspension.
Yeah. But I mean, you had a style all your own. I mean, I think at one point it was your company logo, just a silhouette of you doing a knack-knack. But like everybody knows that's you because you're the only one doing it. Right?
Yeah.
So, hey, if it's okay, if I can pull up some pictures from back in the day and kind of walk through them with you, tell a little bit of who you are. But pardon me?
I'd love to see what you have.
I put together a few. Let's take a look. Where did my slide deck go? Can you see that okay?
Wow, some old ones there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Me in the dirt.
With a Tonka truck.
With a Tonka truck, yeah, and just sit. I was always in the dirt. I'm still always in the dirt.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's good stuff. So you grew up in Alaska? Or how long did you live in Alaska?
Well, it bounced back and forth, but yeah, I lived in Alaska till I was probably 12, maybe 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where in
Uh,
Alaska?
Juneau,
Okay.
so kind of the capital there, and kind of bounced around a couple other places in Alaska.
Hmm.
Uh, born in a really small town there, and then Juneau's kind of where I went to junior high and all that kind of stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was interesting. I remember I have a story back then that when my brother, he was older, he got a little mini bike, and I was able to use it and ride around and do stuff. And I remember doing a paper route, and we had some forts out in the woods, in Alaska, out in the bush. And I'm
Hmm.
riding a mini bike, and I'm trying to, I think, find some friends, and I think they're out at the forts,
Are you
and I'm
talking like a 50, like a little motorcycle?
like a little Honda 50.
Yeah.
So I'm riding around in the forest, and I remember it had a bent fork.
Uh-huh.
Front fork didn't work too well, so it was pretty rickety. But I remember pulling up to this little creek that was out in the forest, and I'm going, man, where's everybody at? And a big grizzly bear comes out of the forest on the other side of the creek.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And it comes down into the creek and it sees me and it's starting to come across the creek. And I'm trying to start the mini bike and I get
Uh-huh.
it and I'm like down the little trail, never looked back. And I got to the street and I was just freaking out that the bear was chasing me. And I
Dude.
couldn't, I was like,
And grizzlies, grizzlies are all business, aren't they?
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And I'm sure I just looked like a little niblet and it was like, yeah, I'll take that.
A little niplet. I mean, like California black bears are like, they're kind of big raccoons. Um, you don't want to mess with a grizzly.
Yeah, you should. In Alaska, you do not do that. It's one of those Alaska things. Like, yeah, bears are something that you definitely you shut your door, you hunker down and let it do its thing,
Yeah.
unless you've got a gun to do something. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So these pictures of you on the BMX bike, airing it out and
oh
doing some
yeah,
freestyle stuff. Where was this?
this was in Santa Barbara, California. This
Oh,
and
okay.
trying to think. I look a little older. I might have been 15 or 16 back then. I'm trying to see. Can you zoom in on that one? But I think that's
Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah. So that's Santa Barbara. Pretty sure that's Santa Barbara. Um, Yeah, and actually Adam Booth, who was the editor of BMX Plus, something like that. I grew up with him, and so he was doing motocross action, and he does a whole bunch of other stuff now. Um, but Adam Booth actually was a close personal friend, but he's a photographer, so I got a lot of photos through life with this, amazing photographer, and so he
Nice.
was chasing me around. So yeah, this is me doing urban stuff in Santa Barbara, running
Yeah.
along the walls, yeah, bunny hopping barricades.
Dude, you're lucky to have pictures from when you were young.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'd lost decades on my own computer, and I can come back to these ones because I
yeah.
can find them online and in random spots. But yeah, like the old BMX, and that was I think that was a red line, but I've got the bash guard under the chain ring
Oh
there,
yeah, yeah,
holding
yeah.
on, so I could do like rail slides. Yeah, I see that little bash guard under there, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, super funny that stuff. I remember like that was such an upgrade. Like, oh my God, I got the new bash guard and I got it on there and learn how to do grinds and things. Ugh.
Yeah, so you had some freestyle flatland that looks like maybe a dyno or something.
Yep, yeah.
And then
That one there, I think, because I was all about the red line bike, so I think that one might
okay.
have been. But yeah, and that you can see I'm a little younger in that one, and that one was in Texas, and
Okay.
where I was the only kid in Texas in our town to be riding a bike around town. Everybody's like, "What are you doing riding a BMX bike?"
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
I love to do. So I would be out by myself riding my bike. Didn't matter.
But you raced BMX?
I raced a few times, yeah, and I this is high school, and I can tell from the white car on the left where
Oh,
I was. This is my old girlfriend's car.
what
Uh,
is that? I can't
and
tell what that is.
I can't tell. I don't remember what it was either, but it was an
Yeah.
old little hatchback thing, and I could take my front wheel off and put the bike in. Um, but yeah, I want to say this is down in Ventura or somewhere, California, where I went to one of the tracks down there.
Hmm.
But yeah, I did a few years of BMX racing, and it was just fun to get out there. But I didn't really understand the competitive thing, so I was more just hanging out with friends and people. So the start gate was kind of cool, and then if somebody crashed, I might stop and help them.
Yeah. Really?
Supposed to race. Well, he crashed. I thought I'd help him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had freestyle, dirt jump, flatland, BMX race experience before you got into mountain biking.
Yeah, and that's why it was just all about having fun. I didn't really, have this being any top racer or anything, but it was just having fun. And all of a sudden I got hooked into the mountain bikes.
But
Oh
dude,
wow.
that's the best way to stick with something.
It is. And
You know?
because we help run teams now and I've been a mentor for lots of different teams around the country. That's one of the biggest things that I focus on is because I hear dads and parents like, okay, I want my kid. He really wants to do World Cup racing. And I'm like, okay, well, he's 12. Like,
Yeah.
let's have some fun for the next 3 or 4 years before you start focusing this.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I want to know what series and what this they should be doing and how should they be training. And I'm like, make sure they eat well and let them go ride their bike. That's it.
Yeah. I've been taking my daughter a little bit, mountain biking, and like my focus is just on enabling her to have so much fun that she wants to come back and do it again,
Yeah.
whatever that means, right? And sometimes we'll stop and look at like red-tailed hawks and like lizards and go geocaching while mountain biking. It doesn't matter, you
Yeah.
know.
Go pick some berries.
Pardon me.
Go pick berries.
Yeah, I mean, we'll bring a lunch and
Yeah.
sit on a tree stump and have a picnic. Like mountain biking can be anything you want. Like if you like hiking, it can be just like that, but you go further.
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
can be into downhill and hitting jumps, or both, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing is introducing kids and people into cycling is making it what they want it to be,
Yeah,
putting your expectations on it. Hey, I really want you to go whatever.
yep,
And as soon as you can make it what they want to be and they can enjoy it at the whatever level they want, they're going to want to come back to it.
yep,
And that's that biggest piece of finding people's kind of aha moment of, oh my God, that was really fun. Great. Let's go back and find that again. And then we can
yeah,
start pushing it or whatever.
yeah,
But it's been really good that way. I think through the whole coaching career that I've had, my second career of cycling, I was free ride, racing, and then I got into coaching. And that's been where I've kind of almost my biggest part of my career has been coaching now.
yeah. Somewhat, maybe controversially, I put my daughter on an e-bike recently because our trails are so steep here. I was telling you earlier, 35% grades are like kind of the norm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was even saying like e-bikes are cheating. I'm like, just give it a try. And then, on one of the last rides, I had her go up this crazy steep hill that was super muddy and pockmarked from the cows. And she went right up it and got to the top. I'm like, you wouldn't have made that on your other bike, right? Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Go back one picture.
yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah.
think
I want to talk about these too, but
okay, yeah, I wanted to see that. Yeah, so it's almost the same photo. I'm just looking to see. Um,
yeah, let's see. You've got kind of a green and brown jersey, blue pads. What's this
yeah,
one?
yeah, and I think it's the same photo shoot, but the cover of that
Uh-huh.
they liked this photo, but you see, I have a hole in my shorts.
Oh yeah.
I remember that photo shoot, them going, and it was a pedal that snagged me on my butt,
Uh-huh.
and I don't remember how, but it was somewhere odd. But yeah, it was the same photo shoot out in Santa Barbara that we
So
were doing this.
this is like, so I run this group of just bike geeks, and this is like the quintessential Shaums March. Like this is what people think. Mountain Cycle San Andreas, Zysak's Fork, and you doing some crazy air. Is this called a knack?
Yep.
Is
Yeah.
that a BMX thing or a motocross thing?
I think it's a BMX thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely.
so tell me about this bike. Back then you would have been living in Santa Barbara
Yep. And
and
the mountain cycle was just north of us, about an hour and a half or not even an hour and a half. Maybe it was an hour and a half. I want to say Santa Maria or something was where mountain cycle was.
yeah.
Might have been a little further north. But so then so got to know those guys. And I remember and if you see the Stratos on my jersey,
Yeah.
That's Stratos shocks.
Yeah.
And so those are the shocks I was wearing on the rear. And Stratos shocks was built, and they were right in Santa Barbara. So I got to know them. And so they were helping build our shocks and everything. But they were actually a big manufacturer of airplane landing gear.
Yeah.
So that's one thing they were doing. But then the shocks was something else. They was kind of their side project.
Yeah.
Uh, but the San Andreas, when I got on that company and I started riding for them, and I kept breaking the rear swing arms, and
Yeah.
that
Wasn't
was
there a picture in one of the magazines? There was a picture of you like folding one.
oh yeah, yeah, and they were upset and all of that, and it was like the owner and the manufacturer there, they were upset, but the reps were like, this is amazing because everybody wants the bike. They know they're not going to do what you're doing on it.
Hmm.
They love that. Yeah, you broke it, whatever, but they're not going to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So they started sending me extra swing arms, but it was the rep that actually got me connected on in a good, I guess, in a good way, because the owners were like, "No, we don't want you on the bike. You're giving us bad press." But the reps were like, "Wait a minute, he's selling bikes though. Do you not realize that now I've got 50 more orders because of this video of him breaking it?" And it took them almost half a season where they were like, we don't really want you on our bikes, but then all of a sudden they got this big rush order of
Yeah.
hundreds of bikes, and they were like, oh, wait a minute, I guess we understand now that even bad press is good press.
Yeah.
And so they started giving me extra swing arms, so I would have like 3 or 4 of them in the trailer, and an extra frame and all these kinds of things, so to be ready for it.
So did you deal a lot with Robert Reisinger?
Yes, and he wasn't there was a team manager. I'm trying to think who that was. Um, I remember Robert, but I can't remember. He wasn't who I dealt with up front.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not going to remember that. But yeah, because he was one of the main owners.
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of the face of the company.
Yeah, and there was another guy, a couple guys down that was who I was dealing with, and then that was why Robert was like, "Well, I'm seeing all this bad press. This isn't good for the company." And so there
Hmm.
was like this tier of people going, "Wait, wait, wait! Don't get rid of them." They're seeing this, and it was, I want to say it was no, it was Utah. I think it was Utah where I broke one of the swing arms, and it was this big thing, and that's where I like got in trouble because of that, and they didn't want me on their bikes. But then it was that whole weekend of, hey, we're not happy, and then it became this, oh no, no, we still want you on our bikes. We do want you on our bikes. And so I was starting to shop new sponsors because I was like, they don't want me on their bikes anymore. And then it was this, no, 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 we do. And it was kind of a weird season that way.
Yeah.
Um,
So is this earlier or later? Here you have a Hannah Brink, and in some of the pictures you have a Zizix, and I know
so
they're
that's earlier. So Zizek is after Hannah Brink.
okay.
So Dan Hannabrink created this fork for a long travel fork um, before anybody else, right? I think RockShox had a 4-inch travel fork or something, and I was able to get this Hannabrink that had a 6-inch travel fork, and it was one of the longest travel forks with one of the longest travel bikes. Foes was the only other long travel bike out there,
Yep.
and nobody had paired it with a long travel fork yet.
Yep.
So I was the one of the first people, and that was almost like my goal because I was all suspension focused, and I was like, oh my god, the foes is what I wanted, and I wasn't able to really grab it quick, and I was able to get the mountain cycle, and it's had the 6-inch travel, and then the Hannabrink, and Dan Hannabrink was an odd character, but he was down to earth, and so we got along that way. And he hooked me up with a fork, and I still had to pay for it, of course, but
Yeah.
he was like, you give me this, much to pay for the cost of it, and he'll help upkeep it.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing because it was like, well, am I going to break it? What is it going to need? And because I was known for breaking stuff,
Right.
then all right, no, that's all right. Let's get you on the bike. See what you can do, and we'll keep the fork running for you. And so that was the big thing of, okay, Dan, I'm going to probably need some more dampers. I'm going to need this and that, and no, no, you're going to be fine. And then within the first week or two, I was like, Dan, I think I broke it, and he was like, oh my god, okay, you're breaking shit. So but he got me on that and kept me on the Hannah until Zizix was created, and that was like a year later, and that
Mhm.
was, I want to say, Scotland.
Okay, so Zizix was a partnership with Bullet Brothers and Hannah.
Yes. And so
Got it.
they were just a marketing company, a couple
Okay.
of brothers. They knew really not much about cycling, but they were like, yeah, we can market it the hell out of this new fork. And
Yeah.
I don't remember how they came up with Zizix, but it's one of the last roads out of Nevada into California or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember them like it was just the marketing ploy for those guys. They were really nice guys. The thing that I liked about them with the Bullet Brothers guys is they were creative and willing to go on the edge and try new shit. And they didn't care how I did for racing. They just loved that I
Oh,
was getting press. You were getting
yeah,
press.
dude. I mean,
And they were taking me to the races and we were partying the whole time. And I'd be like, hey, I got to go race in the morning. They were like, dude, don't worry about it. I'm like, I know you guys are my sponsors, but I still would like to go race.
that's
Have a
hilarious.
drink.
I mean, you're super photogenic with this crazy spaceship of a bike doing knack-knacks like 20 feet off the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and then like the crank helmet was a whole spaceship looking helmet too.
Oh yeah, this
Right?
is
It was just this
Bell in that
arrow
picture.
helmet. That yeah, it's not that one. That's a bell, but
There's
it is a crank helmet.
there's another picture somewhere where you have White Brothers on your jersey or something. Were they making fork cartridges for you?
There was I don't I think the White Brothers was for the team, but I was able to bring my Hannah or my Zizix onto that team.
Okay.
And I think that was there was some sort of
Did you
I,
do this, Shaums? Did you do this?
I did this and I still have a scar from this.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, and you see that this is their dual slalom bike or cross country
It's like
bike.
a cross country bike. It's like 3.5 inches of travel.
Yep. And so we had this set up with this Zizek shortened so that
Uh-huh.
I could race
Okay.
slalom on it. I believe this is the one that I blew up in, maybe not, but
Blew up
in,
is right.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it was cracked and it was kind of barely holding together. And then we, broke it apart, but
Oh,
it was blown up for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is rad. I had a I had a Moho, which was the hardtail version of that. So
Yeah.
scrolling. Oh, did you was Earthquake Jake on the team with you at the same time?
Yeah, he was on a different team, but we were on some of the same product. And I know
Okay.
that he tried the Isaacs and instantly took it off.
Pardon me?
He did not like the Isaacs.
How come?
It was too finicky.
Yeah.
So there was lots of different things. So if anybody out there still has a Isaacs,
Yeah.
just for the old factor of it, what the key point was of that is where the cartridge comes through the inner fork leg and
Uh-huh.
where it's mounted, you actually drill out air holes around it because what would happen is the air would get pushed out of the fork.
Uh-huh.
As the fork came back and was coming extended, it would suck air through the seals,
Hmm.
which would then bring dirt and everything in the fork. So
Right.
your fork on a downhill run could seize up within one run.
Dude.
And that's what people were having, were all these, my fork sticks. It would feel great in the parking lot. You'd get it buttery smooth. And as soon as you started getting on the trails and it had dirt or dust around it, it would suck in all the dust into the seals and seize the fork.
Yeah.
And so I had to make air breather holes on the lower end of the cartridges and where the spring had, I think, an uh, open area that would let it go all the way through. But the damper side, I had to drill holes through it, and then I would drill holes in the upper cap as well,
Right.
and make sure it could breathe
So it
so
could
that it
breathe.
wasn't sucking air in. Yeah,
Yeah, if I remember right, you could hear that fork hiss like Darth
yeah,
Vader every time you compress it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. There was lots of fun, and and now it's funny because they're doing this now where you can get toolkits that fit down in your steel tube. You've seen those new things that
Yeah,
have
yeah,
come
yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have them for I think a couple of different forks, and even now you've got your e-bikes and your. But I wanted to do a toolkit that fit down in that fork leg,
Hmm.
and everybody was like, "Nobody will want that," and it was one of those like, "Dude, that's going to be a sweet idea," and then we never did it.
I mean, you got unused real estate because it wasn't an open bath fork.
No, it was just empty. Yeah, it was empty inside of it completely.
Yeah, yeah, yep,
Yeah, so yeah, the old Zy, I mean the Zyzix fork. The cool thing about that Zyzix is it was super light,
yeah,
such a light fork.
like under 6 pounds.
Yep. And I mean the other scary thing is that everything bolted together. So
Yeah,
if something came loose, the whole fork was like a noodle.
yeah.
So you had to really Loctite it, make sure it was all good to go that way. Make sure your crown clamps weren't over tightened because then that would squeeze the fork and it would seize over the seals.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was such a cool fork. Being it was like almost like a Lego fork. You
Yeah.
could just put a new drop out on the bottom. You could unscrew things on it.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
they almost look like Legos. The crowns from the bottom are so heavily machined with like webbing. If you
yep,
flip over a Lego, it's actually really similar,
yep, exactly.
right?
And it was scary. You're like, man, I don't think I'm going to shatter this thing. But
Yeah,
it got
dude. Some of them of that early Hannabrink fork you had, they had versions of that with titanium bolt kits and stuff that they were under 5 pounds, like 4.5 pounds
yeah, yeah,
for a
super light.
6-inch travel fork. So
Yeah,
I never met Dan Hannabrink, but I mean, you look at um, what was it called? The Shocker, whatever he did with SE back in the day.
yeah. What was that? Remember that the shocker?
It was rear suspension only, but I mean, dude was clearly creative. I mean, he came up with
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and for other industries too.
Oh yeah.
That it wasn't just mountain biking. He was into other industries with motorcycles and other stuff, creating really cool things.
So
Um,
did you move over to Ellsworth after mountain cycle, like around 97?
yes, yeah, 97, yeah, 97, 98, yeah, yeah. So
And
um, it was mountain cycle into Ellsworth, and there was actually a really short period where I was on KHS
okay.
that was in there for I think a season, and I think I broke my wrist or something, and then I took a season off, and then I think I went to Ellsworth. Um, Trying to think where that was. It might even have been before Mountain Cycle that I did the because that was Stratos. Stratos Shocks had KHS.
So I think before. So back when you were living with John Kirkcaldy, like in Santa Barbara, you guys shared a warehouse or something,
Yep,
and he was on foes with a Mr. Dirt fork,
yep,
very
yep,
early inverted like 4-inch travel fork. So you
yep.
you were never on foes though.
No, I did ride a Foes for a little while, but I wasn't on the team.
Did you have a yellow
I did
foes
have a yellow
LTS?
big monocoque one, and I had a Mag 22 fork on it. So it was
Okay.
this.
Do you by chance remember Rolf Horn, who was also on the team?
What was it? Roll one?
Rolf Horn.
Oh, I'd have to see a picture.
So anyway, he told me you had a yellow Foes LTS, but then I asked Brent, and he said you didn't. So you did.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and I didn't get it from Foes. I bought it from a friend.
Okay.
It was a friend that was in Santa Barbara, California. These guys were like buying shit left and right.
Yeah.
So he had a Foes, and I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on that because I know
Yeah.
he's not going to keep it for more than a year.
And that bike they had more travel than anybody.
Exactly. Right. And so it was like, all right, it was that in the Rocky or mountain cycle.
Yeah.
I think that's where I had that Foes for, whether it was a year. And then that's right, because I have a picture of me riding a Foes with a broken wrist on a cast at a race. Oh, and there's got to be photos. I had my helmet and I had a big spiked mohawk on it.
Nice.
It's like I think I did it out of fiberglass or whatever, and yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna harass you. I want to see some of those pictures. We'll edit them in.
Yes, totally. Yeah, I will. I will have to find some of those. I think those are probably hard copy photos now in my
Okay.
office.
I'll take whatever I can get. I'll drive up to Bellingham.
Nice.
I'll do a skills clinic.
Yeah, but yeah, throwing those knack-knacks, man, that was definitely the
That
the
was
best thing, and it just was such a cool feeling to be able to throw the bike fully sideways, and the Zyzix fork because it had that triple clamp. The fork you could pull the bike back under you, having the fork help you.
right. Yeah,
So I
you're leveraging the fork off the frame right there and pushing
Yeah,
against.
exactly. So I could throw it way out there, and then I could turn the bars to bring the fork back a little bit
Yeah.
bring the bike back, and then I could grab it more with my leg. Yeah,
Where was that photo taken?
I feel like that was Big Bear.
Okay.
I feel like that's Big Bear, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on one of the dual slalom courses, I'm sure.
This is just a great picture. I don't know where this was.
Oh yeah, no, this is Breckenridge, Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one national that I won, and this has got this whole year was a crazy year, and for me to be on the podium right then was
Dude, and
definitely
look who you're on the podium with.
right. Yeah, like it is one of the coolest things to be there with Miles Rockwell and oh God, who's we got?
Ryan Lopes, Eric Carter, and then who's the dude on the giant?
Uh oh
European or something.
no, he's not. Uh God, I feel like he was one of those um cross country roadie guys that came into downhill for a while, but I can't remember his name.
It's not one of the Stocktons.
No, it's not, but I remember they were friends.
Yeah, yeah.
God, what was his name? I won't. But
Somebody
yeah,
will
cool,
let us know.
cool podium being there. So during this event, not during this event, but while I was at this event, I had actually had injuries previously in the year, and I had a hernia, and so my hernia was down, in my ball sack,
Oh,
and so I,
tell that story.
what's that?
I mean, you don't have to get too gory, but tell the story of how you got
Oh,
ready to ride.
exactly. And that's the whole thing is I'm like, I can't believe that I won this race because I was like limping, trying to get myself moving. I had to ball up a sock and put duct tape around it. And, basically I had to stuff my guts back in my body
Dude.
and then put a sock around it and duct tape it under my, right in my thigh there.
And you went
Uh,
racing.
and I went racing.
And you won.
Exactly. And I won. And it was one of those like I'm just trying to keep my points for the series,
Yeah.
right? I'm trying to keep my points for the overall. I was doing well. I had crashed really hard at in Tahoe at one of the I don't know if it was God of Thunder, but it was one of the Tahoe festival races that they had up there. Um,
Oh, they had it was like Fat Tire Festival.
yeah, and yeah, I'm trying to God, it's such a blur. But yeah, so I had crashed hard, had a hernia, and didn't realize I had a hernia for a while. I just knew that I was, in pain probably everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the reason I was able to race the last few races with making up this kind of contraption and plugging up my hernia hole and then duct taping it so that I could finish each race. But yeah,
That's this is a really good picture.
yeah, you can just see I can feel the intense pedaling forces of what I was going through at that moment.
So,
For
dude, the the bike geeks that go hard on vintage downhill, you've got Nokian Gazzotti tires, probably
Yep, that 3.0
2.6 or
front tire.
bigger. Were you running the 3.0?
Yep, that 3.0 on the front, and then I had the 2. I think you said 2.6 or something on the rear.
Uh-huh.
I had the Sun Ringley double wide rims, so that was wide, but they were super soft with a big round edge on it, so you wouldn't
Yeah.
get pinched spots. But I would go through a rim within a weekend, right? So it was like I needed 2 or 3 sets of rims because I knew I was going to blow up those rims.
Were you your own mechanic at that time?
I don't think so. I think Ellsworth. Um, I had. Oh, he's got a bike shop in North Tahoe. What is it? It's Matt Donahoe.
Oh,
Yeah, Matt. I think it was Matt Donahoe then. There, there was another wacky guy too, though, and I think he was Bullet Brothers though.
mhm.
But yeah, I think Matt Donahoe was one of my mechanics during that time, and he was an amazing guy. I still keep in touch with him. Oh yeah, that's
Um,
this is one of those big floater jumps that it,
dude,
back in the day, right? Like that's
were
I think
you were you just fearless?
uh, I feel like I was fearless and angry and just putting it all out there because I just had
Yeah.
nothing to lose, right? I was loving it.
Yeah.
But this I think is in either Tahoe or Utah. I
Okay.
feel like it's in, or not Tahoe, Mammoth. I feel like that
Yeah.
was Mammoth actually, and it was a big step down, almost right down to the finish line or something.
Okay. Okay. I remember you did a video like a how to. It might have been there. I don't know.
Oh, really?
You remember that? You did a how to video on how to take drops.
No idea.
I'll have to pull that up because I think you were
Please,
on
I
the
want to see
Ellsworth.
that. That's funny.
So this famous picture, I'm blanking on the location where you just hucked it for a hat full of cash.
Oh, then that's the Vermont jump. I feel like that was one of those infamous videos that I didn't have to be anywhere else the rest of the year. This
Uh,
video is what made me famous, kind of a deal.
Dude, I
That
mean,
was,
it was big. You were like 40 feet off the ground.
yeah. And it was a bet
Yeah.
we came up with, and because I had got knocked out of the dual slalom,
Hmm.
but I was friends with Team Big Bear, right? And they did all the timing and everything from at the events.
Yeah.
And I used to go sit with those guys, and we would hang out, and I would drink beer with them or whatever. And I think I had had a beer, and we were doing shots, and I was
Perfect.
telling them about what I wanted to do, and they were like, "What?" They were like, "I was like, yeah, this jump, I want to hit this jump." And then there was a turn, and then there was a jump and that went around the turn, the turn was like a step down, and I was like,
Yeah.
but I want to hit the jump before the turn, and I want to gap this whole corner and land down it. And they were like, no way. And I was like, no, I think I could do that. And they was like, you do? And they were like, I'll bet you can. And I was like, no, I think I can. And all of a sudden they started announcing it on the mic.
Right.
Like, what do you, well, we got Shaums March. He's gonna do this jump. And I was like, no, you guys, they were like, he's gonna. And I was like, at the finish, as soon as we're done with it was like Brian Lopes and I don't know if it was Palmer or whoever that were in the finals. And then they were talking me up to do this big jump. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was not even about the race anymore. It was about this big jump that I had come up with. And I was like, oh shit, I guess I got to go get my gear on.
And was Thor Wixom part of that whole
Oh yeah.
melee?
Thor Wixom, yeah, with he was always an instigator of all that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Because on the video, after you land and like come back up the hill, I think you say, "Was that good, Thor?"
Yeah. So it was a
Right?
good Thor, yeah, totally.
So Thor was coaxing you on.
Always, yeah. And he was like, let me get the video camera. Let me, yeah, wherever I was, there was always like, let me get the camera, make sure we're ready.
Yeah.
I just want to hit it. No, no, you gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. I was like, God damn it.
So you mentioned that you broke a few mountain cycles. On this jump, you ripped your bottom bracket in half. Did you break any other bikes?
Oh yeah, I think I broke all of them.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was on Ellsworth here. And
Yes.
so the Ellsworth guys, same thing, were super upset because I was breaking stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm breaking stuff to show you where your weak parts are.
Yeah.
And so they understood, but he was still frustrated. And so, certain pieces we would make sure I had extras of. Um, but yeah, this one here was the bottom bracket. And this is where I think Shimano might have had some issues because it was their bottom brackets. And I wasn't the only one breaking them, but they
Uh-huh.
were like refusing that, no, no, you guys are doing, the bad stuff. And it's like, but we're breaking your bottom brackets. And it was like the one season that everybody was kind of breaking bottom brackets. And then all of a sudden it stopped. We weren't breaking them anymore.
Huh.
And so there was something that was going on. But
Something changed.
yeah,
The really, because I think that was a hollow bottom bracket. The really early XTR hollow bottom brackets from like 96, 97.
they were still square face.
No, they were square like up to 95 and then they went hollow.
I think I was still running the squares though.
Were you? Okay.
I believe I was, yeah. And that,
Okay.
especially the Ellsworth ones.
There's
Um,
another picture of you on the Ellsworth. So, okay, what was the race? Something happened. Your Ellsworth got stolen, and Jeff
oh,
Stebred Intense offered you a bike, and then what? Tony Ellsworth said no.
yeah, and that was a frustration, and that was Vermont. That was like the finals, and again, this is after I had a hernia. I was trying to like keep my points up. I had won a Northern National, and this was the season that I just started clicking. And again, I have to. Again, was this 99, 98, 98? Yeah, 99. Yeah, so 98, and so there was multiple things that had happened where I remember. Palmer and Voorhees. I just started to get into the clique of talking to those guys. I was
Uh-huh.
always on the outskirts of the big crew. But I remember Palmer telling me, dude, you were so quick. Just slow down. Just slow down a little and you'll be fine. And it took me that year is all of a sudden when it clicked, like, no, I don't have to go like a madman. I just need to go as quick as I can safely. And so I started doing well. I started being able to finish. 97, I think, on that mountain cycle, I would qualify in the top five at every race, and then
Hmm.
I would blow up during the race. And that was my problem. And I couldn't hold it together on race day with the pressure. And then so
What do you mean
98.
you'd blow up? Like physically you couldn't hold for 3 minutes or what?
Well, it was either I would go too hard and break something or crash,
Okay.
and it was like all or nothing. I was racing all or nothing, and it was just slow down a little bit. You don't have to be all or nothing. And
Yeah.
so that next year, 98, is when it started clicking. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm quick. I don't need to push too hard. And so that was Snoqualmie Pass where was I qualified first at the World Cup and I had Bicklet beat Nicholas Vouillot
Yeah.
and qualifying. And again, I was last to go at a World Cup. The
Yeah.
pressure was as high as it could ever be for me. Have never done anything else like that level, and all of a sudden I'm standing behind Nicholas Vouillot, who was second, and he takes off, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm the last person up here at a World Cup, and
Yeah.
I I thought I had it. It was overwhelming pressure. They were taking down the banners, and I'm like waiting in the start gate. And so I go down and I get a flat tire. I think that I can, I'm just going to keep, going. And I had crashed. I had broke my neck. Um, and so then that year, I think the World Cup gave me almost a month and a half before the next national. There were some couple of World Cups in Europe or wherever. And so I didn't go to those. And it came back, and then it was Breckenridge, Colorado. It was Mammoth and a few others that I came back from my fractured neck, and that's when I had my hernia.
Oh,
Um,
dude.
and so all of these things kind of compounded, but I was on point. Like I understood how to race all of a sudden. I didn't
Hmm.
have to go full speed. So let me just limp through this season, putting this sock in my groin and, trying to be gentle. And I was actually doing well and I kept going better. I think I was top five or top 10 in Mammoth. And then it was uh, Colorado where I won. And so all of a sudden my points were looking good. I think I was seventh overall. And then I got to Vermont, and this is where I was in the Ellsworth trailer, everything was looking good, and I was like, I just need to be in the top, I think it was top five or top six, and I would be in the top three overall. And I was like, oh my god, I can do this, like we're so close. And I get there, I'm riding the Ellsworth, we're in Vermont, and the team is there. Tony Ellsworth, the owner, is not there, but his
Hmm.
brother, I don't even remember his name, is there. And
Hmm.
we're, doing practice and all of these things. And all of a sudden, the mechanic said, hey, your bike is broke. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you got a big crack in the main frame. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, well, let's put my spare bike together, my spare frame. Oh, it's not here. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's not here. Oh, they sent out your whole bike for a photo shoot. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, we sent it out. The photographers have it somewhere, some other state, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, well, what do I do? And they were like, well, we got your dual slalom bike. You can race your dual slalom bike. I said, I can't race my dual slalom bike in the downhill. No, no, it'll be fine. And I was like, I can't, like, I can't do that. Where Vermont was a gnarly course. It
Hmm.
was high speed, big rock boulders, big step downs, and I had walked around, kind of trying to figure out, and I'm trying to think if it was how I was talking to Jeff Stieber and how I got connected with Jeff because we knew each other, but he again said, yeah, no, I've got a full bike here for you. You can ride it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Jeff, thank you so much. And then I had got on the bike. I feel like I went over to the Ellsworth pits. I think I was getting the bike set up, but Tony's brother, saw what was happening and said
Yeah.
and called Tony. I don't think we had cell phones then, so it was like he went and called Tony somewhere.
Hmm.
Before I even got it enabled able to get onto the course, he said, "Hey, you can't ride that bike." And I was like, what do you mean? It's all good. I just got it set up with my pedals. I started doing all the tuning. Good. I'm ready to, no, you can't. Tony says you can't ride that bike. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, Tony, he said he'll sue you. And I was like, no fucking way. So it was this big ordeal of politics came into play of, you signed a contract that you'll only ride our bikes. And I was like, yeah, but your bikes are broken and you don't have the proper bike here. I need a bike.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really matter. You did such a good year. And it was all, it was all about the company and not the racer that has a limited lifespan and that he's on his way to
Yeah.
doing great things. You're going to limit it because the company doesn't want to look bad.
Dude, and that kind of thing happens. I mean, Jürgen
Oh, yeah.
Beneke won a race on Missy Giovi's bike one year because his bike broke or got stolen. Nathan Rennie had to borrow, I think, a Cannondale one year when remember he had that crazy like Cyclo-Pro black bike with like a snowmobile shock. His
Well,
bike got stolen and he
I've
borrowed a
seen that as a
Cannondale.
no time, but yeah,
Excuse me. But
I think
yeah,
it's no time,
that kind
but
of stuff happens all
yep.
the time. I don't know why Ellsworth didn't let you.
He was a special, unique character, I think. And he was
I've
just so,
heard.
but yeah, anyway, it was one of those things and it was frustrating. I had Brian Prescott and a few others that really helped me to
Yeah.
say, well, don't worry about it. Like, just sit out then. And so I sat out. And again, I went back to Team Big Bear because I knew all the guys there. And they said, just come in and just commentate with us. And I was like, all right. So I said, screw it. I didn't even race. And I sat and I commentated and watched my overall go all the way back to seventh. And so I was out of the top five. I sat seventh with not even showing up to that last race. But because I had a level head, because I just sat back and let it happen and commentated, I had more respect from the sponsors to say, oh, okay, you're more of a team player than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my contracts for next year really changed because of that. And that's when I went into, contracting to ride for Schwinn, which again was a mistake. Uh, Tomac wanted me to ride for him, and I really wanted to ride for John Tomac, and it was that's I guess almost one of my regrets is not riding for John Tomac, right?
Yeah.
It was frustrating, but he had no money. He's like, I can pay for your races and pay for your travel, and I was like, I quit my job. I need something. I can't,
Mm-hmm.
not have a salary of some sort, and he just couldn't give me enough to survive on. So I went with Schwinn, and then Schwinn was the worst year ever.
So I might have this out of order. When did you start on Chumbawamba?
Right after Schwinn. So
Okay, so I have this backward.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you have the Schwinn year? There it is. Yes.
Dude, this right here, I mean, you got to have some of these framed. I mean, these
Right.
are just
I
killer pictures.
wish I did.
Okay.
I don't even know where that photo's at.
Okay, I can help you out.
Yeah, completely. Like you're right. Those are some of the classic photos. And I know that there was a poster at one point we had, and all of that stuff has disappeared, throughout
That
traveling.
is just freaking epic. So,
Yeah.
okay, you're
Yeah,
not
being
happy
on
with
that
Schwinn.
Toyota team. Yeah, so then I went from Ellsworth. That was the last race of the year, and Tony Ellsworth saying, "Don't worry, we'll get him next year." And I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm going to get somebody else next year to work."
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And I lived with Brian Prescott from
Yep.
Night Ride,
In
uh,
San Diego or where?
San Diego that off season.
Yeah.
So during the transition of leaving Ellsworth, because Ellsworth was in San Diego area, and then signing on with Schwinn that next year, and then moving back up to Santa Barbara, and doing all my training and everything up in Santa Barbara, and being on Schwinn.
Yeah, I rode with Brian Prescott a few times. So he was like the main night rider, like spokesperson, and would travel around the country. And they hosted their own races and stuff. He was a good dude.
Yeah, yeah, green goatee, right? Green beard.
I don't remember the green goatee. He had a
Really? That
green.
was the big, yeah, it was a big green beard that he always had. That was
He had
his
a
thing.
he had a green Ventana La Bruja.
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Really rare bike. So I remember the bike, and I think he had an Ellsworth at one point. So
Yeah.
what was up with Schwinn? Were they breaking?
They weren't necessarily breaking. I'm trying to think. We just had Schwinn being such a big team, they had like 8 riders,
Hmm.
and they brought on John Kirkaldy and I,
Hmm.
and they gave us old bikes. Like, oh, here's our bikes from last year, and we put them together. They were used, and it was like, okay, cool, we got on them. They didn't really make anything amazing. It was actually more complicated, and I think that was the straight eight had like a wishbone double link. I don't even know what it was back then.
Yeah.
Uh, and Mert Lawwell helped design all that,
Hmm.
right? Lawwell's dad, and those things were, yeah. There's a good photo of it.
Hmm.
No, that's the straight
That's the
six.
short travel. That's like a 4 or a 6.
Yeah, and then we had the straight six and straight eight.
Hmm.
Uh, and so yeah, those bikes again, they were good, but they were heavy. It felt like everything was pretty tall versus a low bottom bracket setup. It felt
Yeah.
tall, um, and that was where when we got on the Schwinn team, the bikes and the gear that we had, John and I were struggling. We had the off season before we got into our race season on these old straight sixes.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think you're right. These were four, straight four, and then they had a straight six, and then we got the new straight eight,
Hmm.
which was we got those the race season. I think we got them at Sea Otter. So we've been racing on straight sixes. We got straight eights at Sea Otter, and the the bikes we got were stressed straight from the factory,
Hmm.
where Marla Streb, uh, uh, who did you say was on Marla Streb? I can see their faces, but can't picture their names.
On Schwinn or on Yeti?
Well, it was Schwinn. Oh God, what was it? It was
Was Dave Cullinan on there at all?
yeah, Dave Cullinan, uh, Elliot, Missy.
Sherry Elliott would have been
Yeah.
Shumbo, or was she on Schwinn?
Oh, sorry, no, yeah. So not Cher. That's Lisa Cher.
Lisa
Uh,
Sher. Sorry,
that
yeah.
was Chumba. So it
Yeah.
was Dave Cullinan, Marla Streb, um, uh, what's her name that wanted to get certified by us that was running Lee Donovan, um, Lee Donovan, and then Jurgen Beneke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big team, and then John and I.
Hmm.
Everybody else had been on that team for a year or two. They
Hmm.
all had their straight eights and the previous years, and we got a brand new fresh straight eights that were made incorrectly.
Oh.
We did no testing, got our bikes put together at Sea Otter, and we struggled from race to race to make our bikes work,
Hmm.
not knowing that the whole rest of the team were not on the new bikes. They all went back to their old bikes. So John and I were struggling with, I think our fork angle was 3 degrees too steep,
Oh, really?
made the bottom bracket tall. So you were trying to lower the bottom bracket to get enough rake out of the front end.
Yeah.
But the bikes were just awkward and it wasn't working. And John and I were back in 20th place. We could not make the bike work.
Hmm.
Know that I got letters from Schwinn talking about, hey, we're not happy with your performance. We're looking at, cutting your contract. So every race there was a phone, hey, you need to go to their condo and we got to have a call. And then
Hmm.
you have a call with somebody in Colorado about, how your race was. And it was just frustrating because it wasn't a good year of, hey, let's have fun and bond with the team. It was like
Hmm.
everybody was against each other.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it was a crazy, like, being on one of the biggest teams but having the worst experience of
When
everything going.
was this? Like around 2000, 2001,
99.
99?
99, yeah, because it was 98 that I did really good on Ellsworth. 99 was like one of my worst years.
Hmm.
And then 2000 is when I basically took off and went to Chumba and just went differently.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen a few of those Schwinn photos. Those are definitely go. Let's see that one.
I don't have a whole lot of Schwinn photos,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So anyway, then it was Schwinn, um, and uh, and then it was Chumba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, Chumba, and it was neat because I met the Chumbawamba guys.
And it was Chumbawamba. This was
Chumbawamba.
before they were sued by the Brits.
Yep, exactly. And they were again about come test our bike because I had met them and they were like, hey, we're just looking for somebody to test our stuff. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I'll go test some of their bikes, give them some feedback. And I really liked the bike and the way it was set up and the low center of gravity on it, that link and everything that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, they were like, yeah, take our bike. And I had moved kind of up to Canada, living with my girlfriend at the time and traveling around. And so I jumped on the Chumba thing. I was coaching then too, so I think I was more focusing on doing a little more coaching and clinics. Um, and then Chumba was like, "Yeah, whatever you want to do. You want to do some races? Sure, we'll meet you at a race here and there." And so then I started getting back into racing a little bit. Um, and then that's when I think I had done. Let's see, you're scrolling too fast. Can't
I'm
see.
sorry. You want to go back up to Sea Otter or?
Well, yeah, we'll go to that first Chumba photo, the Chumbawamba there on that one,
Yeah.
because that one there's a number plate. I'm trying to think of where that was. If that was Big Bear, um, and then the next one, next photo.
So
Yeah, I feel like that was a Sea Otter.
that looks like Sea Otter.
Yeah, the bottom right corner, and then it says something there, but or
Uwe Buchholz, that German photographer.
okay,
And then
yeah,
I think he took that. This is definitely Sea Otter.
yeah, that's definitely Sea Otter. Yeah, and then and so yeah, it was kind of a cool like I needed a year to decompress from the Schwinn but debacle that we had there.
Yeah.
Um, and then once I got into Chumba, kind of found my footing in life again of like, okay, I can be me, and got on the Chumba and was able to have a good time again, and traveling around, finding another team to run with.
So
Um,
was that Ted Tanui? What's his last name?
Ted Tempany? No,
The
no,
the
Ted.
founder of Chumba.
Yeah. What was his last name?
Tanui. It was
Yeah, I don't
a lot
remember
of
that.
vowels in it.
Exactly. Yeah, but and then Bob was one of their main mechanics, and it was kind of cool. They were an Asian team, kind of the owners were Asian. They had some Hawaiian guys on there, so it was kind of this cool Asian flair team.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and they were super meticulous with everything, and I really liked that. The way they put the bikes together, where our repair kits were, everything was just super meticulous at the pits, and the bikes were just beautiful. I love this raw aluminum,
Yeah.
and the low slung swing arm and the shock. Like the bike just felt so light and nimble under you. I loved
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. So my friend Todd owns this bike. I believe this was one of your race bikes.
yeah, and I think this one was for sale within the last year or so,
Yeah, he
right?
got it in the last year or so, and I don't think he's done anything to it other than clean it up.
Yeah, no, no. I remember the guy messaged me saying, "Hey, do you want your old bike?" And I just a year or two ago, I was like, "I just don't even have a place to put it right now. I don't want it to just rot. So I'd rather somebody else take it." And so yeah, I'm glad that he's got it and he's taking good care of it.
What is this chain guide?
It's exactly that. It was just a Chumba chain guide that they had made and they
They
put
just
on.
made it.
Yeah, and because it was specific for that bike and swing arm, so it let the
Mm.
swing arm move in its range without the chain getting bunged up or being
Yeah.
able to come off.
Yeah. Got a titanium spring on the Fox,
Yep.
little Moto link. Man, there's something going on with that link.
Yeah, and those links were awesome. And it was kind of, all the crazy stuff I did. I never really shattered those links. I would wear out the pivot points, but I
Uh-huh.
never shattered the links. I might have cracked one or two of those swing arms, so that was an impressive, feat too, that I could do what I was doing and not just rip a swing arm off, right?
Looks
Uh,
burly.
yeah, yeah. That again, that was one of my favorite bikes for sure. And
Floating
then
brake arm. Did you run a Hopi
I
steering
did,
dampener?
yeah, that Hopi was awesome.
Yeah.
It definitely settled everything down, just made it a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And then what brakes are these?
Those don't look like the brakes I had on it.
Okay.
Yeah, those ones, because I know I had a Hopi, but then we had a Shimano, and then it was Hayes.
Yeah.
Those don't look like anything I've run. Yeah, the
Um,
Rampage.
Red Bull Rampage number two, I think,
Yep, might have been.
in 2002. I think you got fourth place.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, on the
What was that?
Chumba. Yeah, and that was definitely, that was those were like the awesome times, but being scared to death. Like can't believe what people do now.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the rides that are. I mean, I don't feel bad, but I worry for them
Yeah.
that are doing this, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys are doing this for what we get paid.
Yeah.
That's the whole scare thing.
They don't get paid nearly enough.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Ted, I think his last name is Tanui.
yeah.
He founded and started Chumba. I believe it was out of Bike Beat Bike Shop.
That's right. Yep.
Remember that? I was selling to them. I was at Wilderness Trail Bikes back in the day. I was like Western Regional Sales Manager or whatever they called their people. And I sold to them all the time. I had no idea who he was. Kicking myself. I don't know what Ted is up to today, but
Yeah, yeah. I don't know either, but yeah, those guys, they were good guys. Um, yeah. So then it was what we went from Ellsworth, and then it became Norco after that.
and I don't have a lot of pictures of you on Norco. I have just a
No,
couple.
no. We had, and actually, I'm trying to think, Norco, and then it was Mountain, then it was Marin. That's right, Norco, and then
Uh-huh.
Marin. Yeah. So yeah, the Norco stuff. Yeah, we don't have much there either. I'm trying to think where all my Norco photos are. Yeah, but that one there is a good one. That photo that was Whistler.
Yeah.
Photos big step up, and the clothing we were wearing too was Mace, I believe.
Okay.
So Norco, that was the thing. Norco in Canada has like a dozen brands under it, right? So they were
Oh, okay.
distributors, so they put their name on, whatever, but then they would make up brands. So Mace was one of their clothing brands. They had tires, they had everything. So I was kind of rocking all of their Norco products at that point, and
Yeah.
Mace. I became one of the faces for Mace clothing, and I think
So they're an independent company, like actually a family business. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, I think they are, and I don't know if they still are, but
I think they
they
are.
were. Yeah, they're still doing good things, and they came up with lots of different, bike designs. And I guess their latest one I'm not a fan of, but I don't know much about it, which is now that, what is it, upper link chainstay or something. So now they've got a cog above the bottom bracket.
Yeah.
Is
So they licensed the iTrack
that
design.
what it is?
So it has a horse link, but it's a high pivot horse link with an idler. And the patent, I believe, says the idler has to be attached to the upper swing arm, whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
you don't
I,
like the design?
you know what is it, I was before that, but as soon as I saw that, I just stopped looking.
Okay.
I think that was just, I don't know. I feel like it's just grossly beyond what we need. Why
Okay.
would let's add like another 20 links of chain because that's one of the weakest points. And like I don't get it.
So I ride an iTrack bike. I have a Pyga made by, do you remember Patrick Morwood?
I think so.
So Morwood downhill bikes. He had like, I think he had Greg Minar and Nathan
Yes.
Rennie and maybe
Yes.
Nick Hanna.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
And I bought one of his bikes. And so I'm a big fan of DW Link.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. The DW link.
They pedal killer, and you don't have to run hardly any platform because they already pedal really good. And to me, like the iTrack is probably the second best pedaling suspension bike. So Pyga publishes all their kinematics on their website, which is pretty rare. That thing is pushing like 150, 160% anti-squat like all the time. So that's what you get with the high pivot. But if you don't have the idler, then it's going to bob every time you hit your dead stroke is the reasoning behind the bike. And then also with the high pivot, you get a rearward axle pass. So if you hit like a sharp edged rock or whatever, it moves out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it.
And I thought, because again, doing testing as I started doing the testing was very focused towards race,
Yeah.
where I was like, I want more pop. I want to be playful on my bike. and
Yeah.
all of the stuff that people were trying to test and put out there became so race focused, it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
And that's where I turned. And even with Chumba, I was like, I love the bike, but they were trying to get it so that it was so fast. I was like, it's not fun to ride anymore.
Yeah.
Like, take that shock off. Let me put the one I like on, and I want it to be a pogo stick so that I can get big air and have some fun.
Yeah.
And
Right
yeah,
on. What
that
did
was
you
part
think
of
of
it. What's that?
what did you think of this thing? I wish I had a better picture. What is that? A Quake?
Yeah,
Quake
the Quake.
7.9 or something?
Yeah, and so the same thing. It had that rearward wheel path for the first portion of it, and then it would swing up and around. I
Oh,
again,
okay.
it felt like it was good, but it was so high centered, is what I felt when I wrote it.
Hmm.
Everything heavy up on top. Um, and I'm trying to think if it didn't have, it was pretty linear versus progressive.
Yeah.
And yeah,
That's a
so
white. That's a white design. WHYTE.
yep, yeah. So some, what is he, F1 designer?
Yeah. Some dude out of Britain.
Yeah, yeah, and it was fast. It definitely seemed to be good. And I mean, I think I won the World Championships on it,
Yes.
and they had the smaller version. I think when I was in Sun Peaks, Canada, I think I won on that. And then we got the bigger version, this one here in the picture,
Yeah.
um, which was a cool bike. It was really cool. I don't remember what the downfall was. If it was pivots or the linkages, or if something would come loose, the whole thing would be loose.
Yeah.
It's
But
kind of a
back
weird.
in 2011, you said it had a 64-degree head tube angle, which had to be pretty slack for then.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And
So,
we've all gone more and more, but yeah, I think it was, you had to ride the bike pretty high in the travel
oh,
to ride it where versus sagging it low in the travel, then your fork would stick way too far out.
yeah. How are you doing on time?
I guess we're getting there, but
We're
yeah,
getting there.
yeah, I'm not in a rush right now, so we're good. I'll cut us off when we need to.
Um, so somewhere along the way on one of your videos, you mentioned you're coaching the International Police Mountain Bike Association.
Yep. Yeah, we were doing lots of training, and we still are training police.
Uh,
Everything switched to coaching. And so the BICP that we work with, the Bike Instructor Certification Program,
uh,
you know, we certify coaches all over the world. But we do have a patrol certification as well. So
so
whether
I
it's
worked I worked with IPIMBA back right when 9/11 happened.
okay, yeah.
I was actually working for the National Crime Prevention Council.
Oh wow, okay.
Remember McGruff the crime dog?
Yep.
And somehow I got in with the International Police Mountain Bike Association. I don't remember how. Are they based out of Michigan?
All right. Yeah, I think so. And my
So
first connection was through Brian Prescott.
yeah, that might have been it. I don't know how I got hooked up
Night
with
Rider
that,
Lights. Yeah, that's what got us in.
but I was trying to encourage them to get like a pro mountain biker involved to get the cops. Like the cops couldn't ride up and down curbs. Like,
Nope.
dude, how are you going to chase people?
Exactly. Yeah.
You
So,
know?
and that was where, when I started working with Brian and going to those night rides, I would do some clinics, and that's what got us started. And I kept in contact with a few of the officers, and then it became the board members that were super excited about it, and
Hmm.
then wanted me to help create something for them.
Hmm.
And then I was working for the certification organization, and we created it, so we owned it.
Hmm.
And we went out and did training with them, and it's taken off. Where we do police departments, we do training. We train the Seattle Police Department, which is hundreds of officers.
Hmm.
We just did Michigan State in 2025. We did Portland down there. I've done Florida.
So do you go to their conferences?
I used to go to their conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it almost got overwhelming.
Yeah.
We went to a couple of them where people would know I'd be there, and it was all good. But then when I would offer a clinic, it would get packed. And I
Yeah.
remember one of the first clinics we didn't put a limit on, and we had over 100 officers wanting to come to our clinic. And
Wow.
I had to throw a clinic on, and it was basically, all right, 50 there, 50 there. I'm going to run through drills. And it was like, had this full on, kind of mechanical system set up so everybody came through, and I got to tell them one or two things, and then we went out and did this ride, and it was like, oh my god, that was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so we've got lots of patrol training that is we're still doing,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. Crazy stories of partying with cops.
Yes.
Those dudes are hardcore.
Yeah. Being in Moab, Utah. Yeah, exactly. Definitely some crazy times back then.
They had a meeting in Logan, Utah for IPIMBA, and I went one year, and dude, the cops drink like freaking, like fish. And I hopped on a cop bike. These guys couldn't ride up or down the stairs, and we were in an amphitheater. I hopped on a cop bike and just like rode down all the stairs of the amphitheater, probably like 5 beers in.
Yeah.
is my recollection of hanging out
Oh,
with
and I'm sure
IPIMBA.
they all their jaws dropped, going, "Oh my God, what do you like? How did you do that?"
So tell me about what you're doing today. Is this one of your classes that you taught?
Yeah, I'm trying to think where that one is. Zoom in on that one.
You've got to
Yeah,
transition
uh,
something.
yeah. So yeah, it's probably one of the clinics. So here in Bellingham, yeah, it's you GGR. I see one of the team. So this isn't that old.
Oh,
Um, so Galbraith Gravity Racing is our
oh,
local team here that I helped start. With the multiple companies that we've run, March Northwest was our summer camps, kids programs. We did, all sorts of training here in Bellingham. Lots of the parents were like, "Hey, will you start a race team? Will you start a race team?" So I helped the parents saying, "I don't want to start a race team. I've done that with Mad March Racing. I've done that way too many times. The Galbraith Gravity Racing is what we all settled on, and we've got a few of the parents that are running it, and it's blown up to where we have 75 to 100 kids on this team all around the Northwest,
wow.
uh, with full factory sponsors now and different, Transition, Evil, sponsoring the kids, and so this team has gone really kind of almost viral in our area, but it's really cool because it's been able to help us implement our training program. And
Hmm.
so, just like I had said at the very beginning, we've always focused on the kids having fun versus
Yeah,
going fast. Start with having fun. If they want to race, great. If they don't, they're still in a good, fun environment.
yeah.
And the Galbraith Gravity race team is kind of our, I want to say, our first uh, um, almost franchise of what we do with the BICP because we certify coaches and we teach people how to start their programming. And so, Galbraith Gravity Racing, we now certify some of the kids, most of the adults, and they run their own programming. I kind of help them with what their programming is. Here's how to do training days. Here's how to do fun ride days. Here's your skills clinics. So we do this and help this team grow. And the parents have, blown it up with everything the parents have put in, which is amazing. But it's really cool because the team is about mentorship. So we
Hmm.
actually are certifying kids now that are under the age of 18 that can become ride leaders. So
Hmm.
some of these kids, their first job is becoming a ride leader for a mountain bike program, and they're getting paid.
That's
So
awesome.
then we have those kids are becoming teenagers, and then once it's not quite 18, but they can take level one and level two um, when they get a little older and they have a certain amount of hours under their belt. And then they can actually be getting coaches' pay rates. So they're actually making $20 an hour, for a kid, with their first and second job being mountain bike coaches here in Bellingham. And it's been really cool to see. So the team basically is being mentored by the older kids and they're feeding to the younger kids. And it's an amazing program to watch it kind of grow.
Are you involved with NICA? Is NICA part of that at all?
We've worked with NICA, but no, we're not
Yeah.
involved with NICA.
Okay.
No, yeah, NICA's got its own thing going, and they're race focused, and
Okay.
they're trying to come this direction, and we've had that kind of I don't even know what to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
I feel very strongly that cycling, like whatever, road, BMX, mountain, it's just good.
yeah,
And my daughter has a 1946 Schwinn Clunker, and she's got a brand new carbon 29er suspension bike. And if I'd try to get her on as much as I can. It's just healthy, and you hang out with healthy people and it's just good. So more kids on bikes is good. They don't have to be racing.
Exactly. And again, it's that outdoors thing too.
Yeah.
Just getting them out and venturing, right? And I think we've lost that where people are just don't go outside of their 1 or 2 block radius when they're kids
Yeah.
without parents hovering over them everywhere.
Yeah. Go out, get lost,
Yeah, get some
have an
free.
adventure, get
Yep.
dirty.
Yeah. So I think cycling is an amazing thing for that for kids. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that the programs are growing and blowing up all over the country. NICA is one, the BICP program and our certifications have really kind of helped communities start their clubs and help them grow their communities.
Mhm.
All the pump tracks and bike parks that are blowing up. So we are actually connecting now more with those bike parks and pump tracks now because
Mhm.
we actually have a BICP certified park program so that each park that wants to come on board will actually have a certain set of skills features so that you can actually teach level 1, level 2, level 3 skills programs at those parks. So you're
Nice.
guaranteed to be able to, I'm going to learn how to jump and drop or do corners or do climbing trails, properly with these certain level of bike parks. So
Nice.
yeah, and you guys have a new one down there in Valencia that I keep hearing about.
I don't know the Valencia one.
Santa Clarita,
Okay.
Magic Mountain area down there,
Okay.
just in California, so north of LA. But apparently, some $7 million bike park. I just saw some pictures of it the other day, and
Wow.
it's supposed to be. From what I see, it's like that's a pretty advanced park, like black to double black. Like I'm like, those are
Really?
gaps that they're putting out there. I'm
Yeah.
like, they have some basic tabletops, so we'll see.
Yeah. And then I was telling you here in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, they legalized a bunch of the non-illegal trails. And I was really afraid that they were, going to try to sanitize them.
Hmm.
So I organized this. This was a bit of a crazy thing, and it actually worked. Was I actually organized the illegal trail builders to form a nonprofit and adopt the park
Oh
and
wow.
work with park management and say, hey, we will on a you know cost-free basis help you manage the park and manage the trails. Won't cost you anything. We formed a 501c3, and not only have they not sanitized the trails, there's twice as many jumps now as before when they were illegal,
Nice. That's
which is
good because
crazy.
got through, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's legal to do it.
Yes.
Versus sneaking it in. Now
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, we're gonna go build it. And
No,
it's
and
over.
they truck the tools, they truck water. If we need pavers, I mean, they truck it all up there. It's no longer done, in the dark and night. So
Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Chuck, well, thank you. I'm stoked to be part of this call and again to be able to share stuff and work through the past of everything. I think it's pretty neat to see
Yeah.
you reliving it and sharing it and being able to bring us into it. I can't wait to watch some other ones and see who else comes on.
Yeah, Shaums, thank you so much.
Yeah.
People, our age, just kind of geek out on what it was like back in the 90s. I mean, the 90s were the craziest time for mountain bike, innovation and suspension and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And people our age just love kind of reliving the memories. So that's what
Oh,
we're doing.
definitely. Right. The
Really
older I
appreciate you
get, the
joining.
better I was.
Totally, dude. Older I get, the faster I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually the slogan on the Facebook group, I think.
Is
So
it really nice?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll have to drop
Right.
some more photos to you so you can see some old stuff for sure.
Yeah, and I'll share some with you as well. Thank you so much, Shams.
Cool. Thank you guys. Definitely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, later.